very
everyone has a freaking townhouse here. So every Friday, now I'm saying every Friday. I might sound like I'm exaggerating, but that just makes me more Spanish because that's the key to talking
complaining
Spanish.
and the exaggeration. Nothing evil that lasts 100 years.
Nothing evil that lasts 100 years, or a body that can
stand it.
That can stand it.
That can put up with it.
So supposedly this is how they deal with bad times and stuff, but
yeah, like if you're telling me something bad that is happening to you, the way that I'm telling you, like, don't worry, like if this too shall pass.
The dawn is darkest before the.
Yeah, but that's a day. This is 100 years.
Oh, of course. This is 100 dramatic.
Lately, we have been getting some comments, especially from Patsy, with curiosity about Türkiye. And it just happens that we flew. No, just kidding. We have one of our friends from Turkey coming to visit us. And we thought this was a great moment to see if we really have that brotherhood between Spain and Turkey, because they're talking about it a lot. But also to get his thoughts and impressions about Spain from a Turkish point of view.
You know, it's fun because for me personally, it's a different feeling because I don't have to be shown something. Now I get to show somebody else.
Are you becoming Maria or no? You're still the American fighting for everything. The professional complainer.
That's what they call me?
As one of our viewers says.
I'm not a professional complainer. I'm just calling things out as I see it.
I think he's just being a middleman right now. He's showing me things, defending some things, but also on my side about my surprises. And,
rolling his eyes and things like
or
that.
at sometimes he's like, oh yeah, I've been there. I've been there before, Kerem.
Get over
it
yourself.
takes a while to get used to this nonsense.
To the madness.
To the madness.
So,
it is madness.
So the good thing is that we know Kerem for years, like since COVID, and he became part of our family.
Yes, and you became part of our family.
The better. One of the things that drive me crazy is your thoughts about our food and stuff. So
well, it's not. The food is amazing. Mm-hmm. The food is absolutely amazing. I haven't had one bad or any even mediocre meal here, but the traditions and the way that those are very confusing to me. Like yesterday when I wanted to have some breakfast and the guy was just kind of like looking down on me, like
he was very confused. He wasn't making fun of you, but it is true that Türkiye breakfast is like a whole
it's a big
thing. And for us in Spain, we barely have either a coffee and a cookie and go or something very quick.
Yeah,
it is true though that in Catalonia, they have a breakfast around 11 o'clock in the morning, and it's like big meals.
Yeah.
So that you would like if you were to go there. But yesterday it's true that we asked for a croissant, and then I asked him for a pincho de tortilla, and I asked him for a couple of things, and he was like, is he getting ready for Christmas or what?
It's Christmas every day for me. But
now that you say that, how light your breakfasts are here, like just a donut, a muffin, or so,
or a toast, yeah.
Or so on, I'm starting to understand why I use breakfast as a verb now. Just so you're not, because you do it. You don't really get to enjoy breakfast. You don't have a breakfast.
Yeah, you have it and then you go.
Because
and it's almost like New York
within
style.
2 hours or 3, we're gonna eat again, and that's the meal, like the aperitivo or whatever. That's what we want.
Every 2 or 3 hours you're eating, so there's no waiting or anything.
But when you have food that's so good, you want to keep eating and eating and eating. That's how my week has been here.
You know what I don't like? My own personal thing. Speaking about the tradition, your tapa run. The tapas, like you go from bar to bar to get different tapas. That doesn't work for me. And that happened when where were we? Salamanca?
We were in Salamanca, in Murcia. We have done it.
She takes us into a restaurant, and we go there, and all I see is food. I'm starving. It's my lunchtime. Forget their
lunch. It was like 1 o'clock.
It was my
aperitivo time.
It was my lunchtime, and I'm looking at all this food, and so it was like, oh yeah, we're gonna have something here. I'm like, okay, I want that. I think I'm gonna get some of that. I definitely have to try that. And she goes, no. We're not eating here.
What?
And I'm like, what do you mean? There's food.
He's like, food is not good here? I'm like, no, yes, but we're going somewhere else to have a meal.
Have the real proper meal.
Well, my thing is, if there's food in front of me, and we're stopping here for food, why are we not eating here?
Because it was just an aperitivo in that bar before going to the restaurant.
You can't do that in the U.S.
But we're in Spain. That's the magic of it.
I understand in Spain, but it still doesn't make sense to stop somewhere, see food, and like, oh, we're gonna have something here. Okay, let's eat.
I actually respect that. I respect it. I mean, if you have the discipline to hold yourself to just keep enjoying as you go along, and then
The
wait for
conversation.
the conversation, the drinks, and
This sounds like a Mediterranean unity right now.
yeah, I think so. I think I will have to side with
Yeah,
Maria with this one.
I
why I
always
have a
say,
beer.
I always say that Turkish and Spanish culture are very similar. And I always said the word that those far away cousins kind of thing. Because if you think about tapas, I think about meses.
Meza, yeah, exactly.
100%. If I think about fabada, I think about kuru fasuye.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's so many like dishes that we share, even though they have their little tricky things, but then the behaviors, right?
Yeah.
Like a mezzo, what do? You sit down
Yeah.
in a big table with a bunch of people trying different things, and you just spend the afternoon
Hours.
ish.
Well, in our case, it's well, it depends on the time of the year. Also, if it's like a nice Sunday afternoon, you go for a nice long 3-4 hour mezes. You start with the cold mezes, and you just kind of nibble on them, and then you are drinking some raku or something. And
Do you have a name for that? Because you just said 3 to 4 hours. That's already past my time limit. So that for them that's sobremesa. Do you have a name for?
the name for that is actually raku.
So for those that are watching us from Spain are not very familiar, raku is the typical drink from Turkey, and it's made out of anise.
And yeah, and then some people mix it with water, and then it turns white, and then some
It's
people.
magical.
Yeah, it's
I love
magical.
it. I love
One
it.
magical
Why
drink.
didn't you bring me a bottle of those? I'm gonna hold you to
Because
that.
I thought it would be too dangerous to bring. I brought you baklava.
Yes,
Hey.
and it's delicious.
So you can add balık. Balık means fish. So rakı balık would be like, let's go do rakı balık, which means going out for 3-4 hours of having the cold mezes first, and then maybe some hot mezes, and the like transitioning towards the fish main course, and then it takes some most of the time when I used to go with my friends. We wouldn't even order, the main
just-
course. You're just so full
With the mezes.
with the mezes, and you're drinking and you're talking, and the food is just an aftermath. You're just you're just there for
Enjoying the atmosphere, the companionship. So you see.
It's
Learn.
That doesn't happen for us because in the U.S. we don't have the time to just sit there for 4 hours or
Yeah.
6 hours here in Spain. That doesn't happen. We have to eat and then we have to get out.
But I lived in the U.S. for 11 years. You choose not to do that.
We choose.
You choose.
We choose not to get kicked out and arrested.
Well, it's the culture. You choose not to enjoy your meals for a long time. You have other things to get to. You have money to make, and you have jobs to do, and and in Spain it's like from Turkey to Spain. I think it's a different. You have during the day, during the week. You have a
Breaks in the middle of the
long
day, yeah.
lunches, and you have beers. That's not really done in Turkey that
Yeah.
much. In Turkey, the drinking is not so immersed in the culture as Spain is. I mean, there's the different reasons for that, but you had mentioned that it's to be drunk in public was kind
It's
of like frowned upon.
yeah.
Yeah, which I haven't seen anybody drunk.
But you see people drinking
Yeah,
at all
yeah,
times.
I see people with empty, like, tens of bottles of empty beers on, but nobody's really drunk. Well, they're talking loud, but
That's normal.
Just normal. That's with or without alcohol.
Yeah,
yes.
I always feel like, are they fighting? She's
No.
like, no, they're not fighting. They're just having a pleasant conversation.
And I don't ever see anybody get into a fight. I have yet to see a fight.
In 2 years.
In 2 years.
In different cities in Spain.
Very true. Different cities. Even when we travel around, I've never seen a fight here. You cannot go in New York City for 3 days and not see a fight.
3 days.
You mean 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's you feel there's similarities between how?
A lot. I actually, well, I don't want to put any thoughts into you. So you answer and then I say what I have to say.
Well, I will tell you this. I think a market is such a good place to watch people and how they interact and how they do shopping and everything. And I went to a market yesterday, like
In Aranjuez.
in Aranjuez, yes, and I was observing the interactions between people, the sellers, the buyers, the price asking, it was so similar to a market experience in Turkey. Like,
Yes.
you know, like the guys yelling, I don't know what they were saying, but I'm sure it was very similar. And, you know, with the ladies, the way they were interacting, and the lady makes a face like, oh, that price, no? It's so similar
Yeah.
in Turkey. I'm sure you,
Yeah,
when you were
yeah.
going to markets in Turkey, it was so similar. I think the Mediterranean kind of cultures and the characters and the personalities are, you know, when you take away the language and when you just watch the people, I think it's very similar.
Yeah, the
It's,
behaviors are very similar. So one of my first impressions when we started living in Turkey was that it reminded me of like the 80s and the 90s of Spain.
yeah.
And not because of infrastructure or anything, because I think Turkey is way more advanced than many countries, such as the US and
Yes,
some European
I agree.
countries. But the welcoming, the come here,
The
let me
hospitality.
show you that all that we used to live it here like way more than today back in the 90s. And so when we started living there, I was so happy because I was like, I feel like at home. Like when I was a child growing up and I saw the adults, like it was the same behaviors.
You just
Um,
love going to a market in Turkey because you can get to sit down and try to listen to all the gossip.
of course.
There's a lot of gossip that
El
goes on
cotilleo que no falte.
right there.
Now we have, you know the balcony that's facing the street side. We call
Yes.
that the dedikodu corner now. Dedikodu means gossip,
Yeah.
obviously, and the gossip at the markets when you have with some tea,
Some tea,
Chai,
chai
yes.
time.
chai time, and you talk about different things. And I'm very happy to be here. You know, it's been a wonderful, wonderful week so far.
I love that the other day. So you went to, oh, before we move on, yesterday when we went to drop him off in the train station, we met one of our viewers. So, Noemi, gracias por acercarte y decir hola, darnos dos besos. La verdad es que nos gustó mucho. Nos
They are
cortamos un
celebrities.
poco, pero
We're horrible celebrities.
Yes.
We cannot be celebrities.
we get really shy.
We get extremely shy.
Yeah.
I just shut down. I'm like, oh. Hi.
Yeah, later I was like, ¿por qué no dices sola? Di algo, me dejas ahí hablando sola. Luego por eso se piensa que no hablas español.
It's the same like speaking Spanish. Like when we're recording, like outside of recording, I'll speak Spanish. I feel comfortable. But the second that red light comes on, I get nervous about what I'm saying. I overthink it, and it's the same when I'm in public. I start like, what is Spanish?
That's what happens with Gökdeniz, is, you know, the people that work with me in Turkey in the hotel. I'll be with them. I'll be with guests, you know, speaking English, and they'll be there, and they'll be like just like this, like nothing.
Like statues.
I'll say something to them, and they'll be like, yes, no. And then I will go away for 10 minutes, and then I'll be in my office, and there's, you know, security cameras, of course, you know, and then I look at the camera at the bar, and Gökdeniz is telling a story, everybody's laughing, he's like, they high-fiving each other. I'm like, why is that not happening when I'm there?
It's different when you're in the face of public, or like when the camera comes on.
Yeah.
Like there's a level of I gotta get this right. I
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
mess up this. I don't want to butcher the language.
Yeah, the brain freezes, you know, like if somebody comes and tells me, tell me a joke, and then I'll be like, there's nothing will
comes
come
to
out.
mind.
Yeah.
That's how it happens. Every time we get stopped in the supermarket and someone says another channel, I just go into
Panic mode. I'm like,
that's it.
talk.
Straight faces. Like an idiot. I can't do nothing about it.
He said it. Anywho, my point was that we went to take you to Aranjuez, but a couple of days before you went to Toledo.
Oh, beautiful.
And you were texting me, and I just love the things that you said. So, do you mind sharing that with the people of the world?
Now you're putting me on spot, so I can't.
Tell me a joke.
Well, the thing is that I was, you know, I spent some hours in Madrid, which is a big city, of course, and I always grew up in big cities. So Istanbul, I was in Chicago for 11 years in the U.S., and then I came back, and then, you know, for the last 8 or so years, I've been living in a small town, in a small resort town in Turkey, Dalyan. And I'm so used to, you know, the slow life, you know, everything just kind of like peaceful and everything. So for me, going into Madrid and with all the people and with all the everything and you know, all the shops that are everywhere, you know, like the same shops in Madrid, same shops in New York, same shop. But then, and I was trying to find my way, which I'm very good at, by the way. I've traveled all around the world, but it was just too much. And I was like, and the plan was to go to Toledo, and then I was at the train station, and it was a lot of people, everything, and I started having a headache, and I started feeling down, and then once I got to Toledo, it was like heaven. It was like so calm and peaceful and quiet and magical. The town, the medieval feel, the medieval streets, empty streets. It was just such like a breath of fresh air, and then I decided to stay another night there because I loved it so much. It was really what's the word, magical I think is and it was a contrast also from Madrid to there.
Toledo,
Yeah, it was a beautiful 2 days. Very good food, of course.
Yes. It is really hard to find a place where you don't eat well in Spain. Like yes, there might be restaurants that are not great. However, like it's very rare. So I'm happy to hear that. But I love that construct of feelings because we did feel that when we got to Dalyan. Because we got to Dalyan like very like
Well,
accidentally.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I remember.
But that's
And
the
then
thing,
we
too.
ended up living there for 2
Because
years.
when we got to Istanbul, we was doing the lockdowns in Istanbul. When
So
we
there
first
was
got
nobody
there.
in the street, so
Right,
it felt
so-
good.
Yeah,
But then afterwards, we went down to Dalyan because a view of us invited us to Dalyan. And I'm like, okay, fine, we'll come down there, drive down there, and he took us all around. And we ended up staying at the hotel.
yeah.
We
And-
stayed the first time for 2 nights.
2 nights, yes.
And
yes.
then we came back for 3 months.
And then you never left.
And then we never left.
Now, looking back retrospectively, I think that was the start of our artist residency program.
The catalyst.
Yeah, I think so, and that has evolved obviously now to something a little more organized and everything. But I think you were the first artists in residence, really, because you were, your story was so interesting, and this is the exact kind of concept idea that we want to kind of support in our kind of artist residency program, where people are going away from the big cities. They want to explore more of what they have on the inside, and go away from the consumerist culture and simplify their lives to explore what they are interested in.
You have a hotel, for those that obviously are not familiar. You have a hotel in a wonderful place in Türkiye by the beach and by the river. But then you came out with this great idea, and you said that we were the pioneers, but obviously this was something that you were already cooking in your brain.
Yeah.
That is offering a place for people to develop their artistry. Am I wording it right? Maybe I'm not.
Yeah, I think so. I think in a nutshell, that's what it is. Obviously, there's different layers of my how I came to this, and it is also developing as we go forward, because I like it to kind of develop itself organically from the participants of the project. But I had run the hotel for 5 years. I had the 2 years of COVID, or 3 years, and then I had to make it more meaningful for me than selling hotel rooms. And I had this amazing location in Dalyan, right by the river, across from the tombs, like the very famous rock tombs. And then, but we had a season starting in April, ending in November. But the winter time over there is so beautiful. It's not
It
It's
is the
amazing.
best time.
Yeah.
The
We
winter
love
time
it.
is the best time.
We love it. We'll spend every winter over there if we could.
It's not hot, like crazy hot, like July, August, which is and sticky, and it's like, and
It's like Spain.
It's just like Spain.
It's like Spain.
I'm really promoting my hotel very
Yeah,
well
yeah,
here.
I see.
It's too many people. It's hot and sticky. Well,
Just don't go.
no. Well, the thing is, it's a summer.
It's a summer town.
Yeah, it's a summer town, and it becomes, there's the beach, there's the river you
Yeah.
can swim in, there's the pool, there's a very, the weather is it never rains during the summer. It's, it's a great for a summer
Yeah,
vacation.
it's like a Mediterranean
it's
town
like a
here.
pueblo here in Spain.
A
but-
Mediterranean town, yeah.
Like with water, I don't have a pueblo. I don't have a house. I still don't have a house. I'm still working on that.
Can somebody please invite him to a pueblo so he can shut up? Because I don't have a pueblo and I don't complain about it.
No, I'm going to complain. I'm going to
What's
complain.
going? What is this?
It's very
Everyone
typical.
has a freaking townhouse here.
Ah.
So every Friday, now I'm saying every Friday. I might sound like I'm exaggerating, but that just makes me more Spanish because that's the key to talking
Complaining
Spanish.
and the exaggeration.
Everybody has a pueblo. Every Friday, you watch everybody go into Mercadona, and next thing you know, they buy up all the stuff, leaving me with nothing here but my own pity to just have nothing to buy at Mercadona, no fruits, no nothing, just knowing that someone took this to their pueblo and I'm still stuck here in Madrid.
Family homes. People go back to their family homes.
Yes.
So escape the city and go to the tranquility of the town.
Why don't you get him a pueblo then?
Yes, why don't
We're
you?
working on it. We're working on it. But anyway, going back to the
Somebody
hotel.
get this guy a pueblo.
Does something like that exist here in Spain?
I'm not sure we have something like that, but listen, we're very direct here in Spain. We need direct things. So basically, during the season, we have a wonderful hotel, wonderful summer destination, a spring, late summer destination. But during the winter, what you offer is a place for artists. I'm saying artists because we're encompassing all these people to come and create without worrying about paying rent.
Yes, exactly.
So you're offering free accommodation.
Basically, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's free accommodation. So any of you are artists or have a project or something, you can contact them and talk about if you qualify or not, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we'll leave all the
All the
links and
information
everything. So
down
if
below.
anybody's interested in it.
Yeah,
And you know,
that's-
there's something good that we have in Spain. I don't know if it exists in Turkey. I know in the US it doesn't. But we can ask for like a work leave. They will keep our jobs. In some cases,
Oh, okay.
you get paid, you don't get paid. But you can be gone for a period of time to try something new or to just take.
Is that sabbatical?
We don't
It's
call
like
it
a
sabbatical.
Sabbatical for us, you have to have a specific reason for your sabbatical.
Yeah, but like here, if you work for a company and you have a contract for X amount of years or whatever, you can say, hey, I need 6 months to do something or 3 months to be away and, whatever. And they keep your job. So I think that this is like a plus that we have here in Spain because it allows us to try things.
Yeah, I think this would be a very kind of. I didn't. You've never told me about this. This would be a very ideal kind of match. I think. Obviously, there's visa and staying requirements in Turkey and everything, but that's like exactly what
That's
the
wonderful.
what the
like
thing
he
is.
gets really upset when
Yes,
I
I
tell him
do.
about these things.
Yes, I do. I'm upset right now thinking about it. If I ask for a leave in the U.S., they'll tell me just to leave.
Yes.
Just
Bye.
leave. Bye. That's it.
You'll have a long leave.
This is the first time that Simba comes into the camera when we record. It's
Really?
always Lucy. This is the
And
first
Sky.
time. So this is our original cat.
Original cat.
Este es nuestro primer gato juntos, Simba, que nos lo encontramos en Serbia. Que nunca lo veis porque está detrás de cámara. Siempre veis al negro. Pues ahora veis al rubio.
He's an alcoholic.
He's an alcoholic. He likes to smell my beer and my wine.
No, you remember in Serbia he had some
He
rakia.
had rakia over there, yes. Anyhow.
That's animal abuse,
I did not force him. I let him be the person he wants to be.
Yeah.
I love that you talk about the process because if I were to talk about, we have refranes in Spain, are like old sayings.
Uh-oh, here we go.
And
Is it Spanish to me?
this is explain it to me
Okay.
moment. And I'm very passionate about our refranes because I feel like we have,
Get
besides
further.
fur in my face, we have a lot of wisdom in our language in Spanish. I'm sorry, but I have so much fur in my
you
mouth
chose
right now.
to rub them.
And he decided to stay here. But anyway, so one of the refranes is, dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres. Tell me who you're walking with and I'll tell you what kind of person you are. And I think that this ties into our conversation today because at the end of the day, like who will think that you and us will become as close as family? Because to me, you and Anne are part of our family. You were so crucial in our part of our life that, to your point, made us evolve, made us like create something, made us go through a journey. And, at the end of the day, we get together.
Listen, I never thought I would leave the U.S. because I always thought, as an idiot, the U.S. was the greatest country in the world. And then she dragged me out of the country and I realized my country is shit. So now I'm sitting here with a Spaniard a Turkish and a Serbian cat. So
In Madrid.
in Madrid.
Yeah.
Kind of
You
person
guys
you
have
are.
a lot of like phrases and
That's what I was just thinking. That's why I got quiet because I think, let me think about it because I should share one and then I think that
Oh,
would be
you
cool.
should.
So
Because I
it's-
actually love all the phrases that you have. Like
Yeah.
when, somebody invites you to eat that they have cooked for you, you say
which one?
the
Are you eating? Oh, eline sağlık is health to your hand to the person that cooked the food.
yeah, like I think those things are wonderful. And I think that Turkish is the closest thing to that wisdom that we have in Spanish that I haven't seen in any other language.
Yeah, well, like kolay gelsin, which is
Kolay
like
gelsin.
let it come easy to you, as if you're walking by somebody that's working, and afiyet olsun is like bon appetit, but
Yeah.
which is like in terms of like a saying like that, I have to think about it. Bir elin nesi var, iki elin sesi var.
it.
El kissing. No, forget about it. Just,
Don't act like you can say it.
no, I just can't. I'm just saying it's gonna take him 5 minutes, and the clock is gonna run out.
Bir elin sesi var, iki elin sesi var. One hand, what does one hand have? Two hands have a sound. So it means cooperation, being, doing things together.
Now that makes sense.
Oh my
That
God.
makes sense. Do you see that? How easy that was? First try, do or die. This guy delivered.
Tenemos que hacer una votación abajo en los comentarios.
Madre
Si
mía.
queréis que deportemos a Bryan a Turquía, decirlo. Porque ahora
Ya.
el turco sí tiene sentido y el español no. Con lo cual.
Do you have something similar to that? Like,
Of course not. It has to be much more
We
dramatic.
actually.
Has to be much more dramatic and make zero
We
sense.
actually have a saying about hands, but it's completely the opposite.
I'm sure it is.
It's about, I don't remember very well, but what you do with one hand, the other one cover it. So it's more like a...
It's the exact
spiteful.
opposite.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's a negative opposite thing.
It's never positive. It's never.
and it's always dramatic.
It's always dramatic. What was the one?
No hay mal que dure 100 años ni
Yes.
tiempo que lo resista.
Yes.
What's that?
There is not an evil that lasts 100 years or a body that can stand it.
What?
Exactly. You see the face? You see the face?
I have to have it written down in front of me to
It won't
really
change
process
anything.
this.
It won't change anything. Say it again, fool.
Necesito vuestro apoyo en los comentarios, por favor.
What? There's nothing that what? Say it
There's
again.
nothing evil that lasts 100 years.
Nothing evil that lasts 100 years, or a body that can
Stand it.
stand it.
That can put up with it.
So supposedly this is how they deal with bad times and stuff. But
Yeah, like if you're telling me something bad that is happening to you, the way that I'm telling you, like, don't worry, like,
Yeah.
this too shall
The
pass.
dawn is darkest before the.
yeah, but that's a day.
No,
This is
that's
100 years.
Oh, of course.
This is 100
dramatic. You're crazy.
It's Spanish. We're very poetic.
I kind of like it. I don't understand it, but I like it.
Yeah.
I respect that it's there.
Poetic, romantic, of course.